Okay, hello everyone. Happy Tuesday. So I am going to go over our agenda, lead generation and growing in uber successful business, breaking down the seminar process, equipment needed.
That'll be equipment needed for the seminar, Z.
I figured, Devin.
Yes.
Picking locations.
Yeah, we ask your name.
Super important. Prepping for the meeting.
Which is important.
Yeah, so that you have everything.
You can't just show up. You gotta make it successful. You gotta plan to be successful.
I know this. I've planned a couple of your events.
Yes.
Running the meeting and follow-up, which is
all important,
yes,
right?
Yes,
all
yes,
important.
Yes.
Follow-up. I think every successful agent struggles with the follow-up. The least you struggle with it, the better you'll be, if that makes any sense.
It does. It makes perfect sense.
The clicker is not working. So let's jump into it. A little bit about us. We are a FMO here in New Jersey. We were purchased by Integrity in October of 2021. We help around 500 agents. We're appointed in just about every state now. And we feel a successful agent should not just focus on one lead source or one way to generate prospects. And so it's really important to take multiple shots on goal for your business to grow, which is why most of the people are on the line today or on the Zoom. All right. And we fall back on technology. We leverage it. We embrace it. We're early adopters with all the technology that's available. And so if you're not quite there in the 23rd century with the technology, give myself or Z a call and we'll explain how Medicare Center works and how our proprietary CRM, My Medicare Helper, works. All right. So are you ready?
I'm ready, Devin.
All right. So I'm going to give some top secret advice right now.
Okay.
All right. Medicare doesn't happen overnight. Medicare does not happen overnight. You do not grow to the agency that you want overnight. And so we have agents that are on the Zoom that have been doing this since 2010. Right? They have amazing books of business. They've been working with us for years and are putting on 200 to 300 clients a year. We have new agents that just joined us last year, just got contracted, who are struggling.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so things don't blow up overnight. You do not become a six-figure Medicare insurance agent overnight without a plan. And I would be wary of anybody that's going to tell you that you should work with their upline because you should be closing 200 deals a day. It takes commitment, it takes sacrifice, it takes work. And if you put in the time and you have a good strategy, there's no ceiling that is too high for you. All right. So we've been running Medicare seminars at our agency for got to be 15 years, right? So that was always our preferred lead generation, was Medicare seminars. But successful insurance agents are not just running one type of lead campaign in order to write 200 applications a year for Medicare, right? We have multiple referral partners, right? So there's really not a day that comes in where we're not getting some type of warm referral from our network of referral partners. We run leads, right? I have agents in the office that run leads. We run Facebook campaigns. I am in a networking group, right? Some of our agents work retail, right? And some agents run print campaigns, newspaper campaigns, TV campaigns, right? So you just need to figure out, if you're earlier on in your career, what you think you would like to do. Now, the majority of this meeting is going to be on seminars, but I would be remiss to say that as an agent or a newer agent that wants to grow their book of business, you really should not rely on one lead source alone to fuel your growth. And the sooner agents figure this out, the sooner their businesses are going to blow up and explode, which is very exciting to me. Hopefully it is to you as well, Z.
It is. So Devin, how many sources would you advise a new agent or an agent to pick out so that they're not overwhelmed?
So it really just depends on where they are, right? So if you're brand new and you don't have money to market, then I think referral partners and working retail is perfect. It's a great way to start. You're going to get in front of people, or you're going to get in front of people that are or have clients that are Medicare age. And the great thing about that is it doesn't cost anything,
Mhm.
right? The more experienced you are, the more revenue that you have coming in. The more revenue that you have, the more you're able to market and put money into your business. As you become more successful in the Medicare space, you'll realize that you have more money than time.
Mhm.
When you first start off, you have a lot more time than money,
Makes sense.
right? So, right, time is my enemy, right? So this is a great way to teach a bunch of agents on how to grow their business. And so for depending on where you are, but we do everything here,
Mhm.
right? Either us or our agents that work with us are working all of these different ways to market, right? And so here are some free ways that we bring up in every seminar, right? If you're not, if you can't afford to do seminars or you can't afford to do lead drops, right? Looking for referral partners are a terrific way to grow your business. And we have lots of agents on here that are already working with referral partners, attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors. Go into a doctor's park. We're in a doctor's park. We walk around the office. We ask for referrals. We go 3 or 4 times a year. These are free clients that come into our office.
Mhm.
All you really have to do is ask these people, do you get any questions on Medicare?
Mhm.
And how do you handle those questions?
Mhm.
Those are the 2 things that you have to memorize.
Mhm.
A lot of agents are nervous going in and networking with people. Those are the only 2 things that you have to remember, right? Because guess what? Any professional that has clients that are 65 plus, they all get questions on Medicare, right? And they don't know how to answer them, right? They want somebody to refer them to. So, this is just a great way to generate leads in Medicare. All right. So let's jump in. Let's break down the Medicare seminar. And so what we're going to cover is how to pick locations. What's the ideal audience? We're going to walk you through the event itself. And then we're going to talk about how important follow-up, doing follow-up is. We're not going to go through our Turning 65 slide presentation that we give, because that would probably be, another 2 to 3 hours with questions.
Mhm.
And so we will handle that in another meeting, or if you wanted to talk to Z or myself, we could actually walk you through the content that we've been using, in the field for the last 15 years in these seminars. All right. So locations. So for a lot of agents that want to do seminars, locations can be the hardest part, or it can be the easiest part,
Mhm.
right? Because you have to find a location that will allow you to come in. And so what a lot of our agents are doing is that they're doing these in diners, right? They're paying a meal for up to $15, which is within CMS compliance. They're going to libraries, which generally don't have a cost. Some of them have a room rental cost, but that tends to be under $100. We love doing senior buildings.
Mhm.
That's really more towards AEP, right? Really talking to people that are already on Medicare. But for turning 65, we go into diners and we go into libraries, and it's proven to be a great way to grow your practice. All right, so we're gonna talk a little bit later on about how you target the audience when you do your marketing, and then we'll walk you through the event and then the follow-up. So, all right, so picking locations. So I think the general rule of thumb when we do these seminars, Z, is that food, yum, 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 yum,
Mhm.
is generally a good draw for bringing people to a meeting. You don't have to provide a meal. We've done them without food. But in general, you're going to send out a postcard or a mailer. You're going to get a higher percentage of people that are going to show up for a free meal.
You must have not done food before I've gotten here,
No.
because I haven't been to an event. I haven't ran an event where we didn't have any food.
Yeah, food and alcohol for the agents, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so food usually draws. Let's see, and you want to make sure that you identify the room, right? You want to make sure the room has enough people, if you get a good turnout. According to CMS regulations, you are allowed to give out a gift card that does not have monetary value if you're going to do it in a library. So some of our agents that are running these meetings can give out a $10 or a $15 gift card, like Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts.
Donuts.
You like Dunkin'
I love
Donuts?
Dunkin'.
Yes, you like Dunkin' Donuts. I'm more of a Starbucks guy. But Dunkin' certainly has a lot to offer us.
It's okay. I won't hold it against you.
I appreciate that. And so, those are things. You don't give out a Visa gift card, right? Don't give out anything that's of monetary value. That will certainly get you into hot water. Sometimes libraries will help you recruit.
Yes.
All right. So you go in, make friends with the coordinator and say, hey, I wanted to do an event. Will you post it on your Facebook page? Can I drop off a flyer? Will that work? Sometimes what we do, what we've done in the past is we've created like a sandwich board. I don't know if they can see this or not. What do you think?
Joe, can you see this?
So sometimes we do like a sandwich board. We'll leave it outside the location. And that sometimes helps draw traffic. We did a meeting at a local library about a week or so ago. Our marketing brought around 15 people and the library had about 9 people. Okay. So that was a great draw that we had. So picking a location is really important. Figuring out how you want to market it is also just as important. Marketing, as you become more established in the business, you'll tend to spend more of your time on it. Right. In the beginning, right, you're really just trying to figure out, how you can get in front of people. And the more time you spend in the market, the more successful you get, generally means you become a better marketer. The better marketer you are, the easier it will be for you to, talk to more people. And that's really what it's about in Medicare, is filling your pipeline. So when people turn 65, you'll have lots of people to talk to. All right. So let's talk about the audience. We generally are going to run a seminar, and we're going to target people that are within 2 to 8 months of their birthday. Right. And so we'll work with a different lead provider or a different lead vendor. We'll buy a list, and then we'll create our marketing. We'll create a postcard or a letter, and we'll send that out to people that are in their window. You got a lot of people that don't turn into clients, and it can be frustrating. An example of that here in New Jersey, a lot of the teachers that are fully vested and retired, sometimes they come to the meeting and they never turn out to be clients. And do you know why?
Teachers?
They're in the teachers' retirement system.
Because they have retirement benefits. Excellent answer. I knew you knew the answer to that, right? But you're going to get a percentage of people that are going to close that come to your meeting. And so the longer you do anything in Medicare, the better that you get at it, right? You're a much better recruiter now than when you first started with me, just because you have all this much more experience that you have now, right? When you first started, you were a little rough, right? As you all are, as we all are. And so any type of marketing that we do, you get better over time. You enhance the campaign. You get better at presenting, right? Everything gets better as you get older in Medicare.
Okay.
Right?
Become more comfortable.
You become more comfortable and more knowledgeable, more experienced.
Correct.
And so we're always optimizing these programs. We're always optimizing our campaigns, no matter what type of campaign we're running. So we typically would plan about 5 weeks in advance of the meeting. If we give us 5 weeks, we get to nail down the venue. We get to build out our marketing, what we're going to send out. And then, you want the card, the marketing card to go to the house a couple weeks before the meeting. You don't want it to arrive a day before because most of these people are still working that we're marketing to. So you want to give them some time to schedule on their calendars so that they can arrive. All right. So some agents just send out postcards. We feel that if you allocate your budget to Facebook, that certainly helps. And so a marriage of Facebook and snail mail will bring people in. And then once your marketing goes out, you're going to start to get RSVPs. It depends how sophisticated of a marketer you are. We have some agencies that are doing, a landing page that they develop themselves and self-register. Some people work with a vendor, or some people just say, call our office to self-register. So when we first started, we would just send out a postcard. They would call the office. Our receptionist would answer the phone. They would take the information and then confirm attendance. So you definitely want to make sure that as soon as the RSV comes in, that you call them and let them know that that you've received their RSVP. So we don't use anything from the carriers. I just think the carrier stuff is watered down. We have our own presentation that we've been using for 15 years. And maybe I have a big ego, but I like slides with less words and more pictures. And so I think we have a really great presentation that we give out to the agents that work with us. So when I read the CMS releases its Medicare guidelines, and so I don't know exactly what the document is called, but they have a section on compliance. And they state that you can't give any more than $15 for an educational events. So that's kind of the guidance that I follow. And I've spoke to some of the attorneys at Integrity, and we've gotten the okay on that from our compliance. What I was saying is, like, I think the reason why we're such proponents of the Medicare seminar is that you could really have a big impact with people. Right. If you've really mastered your content, you make a couple jokes, right, and you're able to really connect with people. And so I just feel like out of all the ways to generate a lead in the Medicare market, in my humble experience, right, from personally selling thousands of policies, this is my favorite way to market, right? Because after you've created yourself as the local expert, people are willing to either come to your office or sign up with you via Zoom or over the phone. And so I know a lot of people on the Zoom have done seminars, sporadically. And just like anything in Medicare, the more consistent that you do it, right, the better you get, and typically the better your campaigns run. All right. So let's talk about the event. All right, so let's say that you've done your marketing, you have your 20 RSVPs that are coming to your meeting to learn about Medicare. Then what you need to do is you need to make sure the day of that meeting, you want to make sure that you call everybody back and confirm. All right. This may take a little bit of time and effort, but you may make a connection with the person. So we call everybody when they RSVP, and then the day of, to make sure they're there. That's going to increase the likelihood that they show up for your meeting. You want to go to the venue early. So if your meeting is at 6:30, I would tell you get there at 5:30. All right, unless you're like Joe and you're closing 4 deals that day and you just can't get there. All right, but in general, we say get to the meeting early. Make sure that your venue is set up for success. That if you have 20 people, you have 20 seats. They're not all on top of each other. And then as people come in, you want to greet them. You want to have your presentation. You want to have all of your equipment ready to go. In terms of equipment, you want to make sure that you have a screen. You want to make sure that you have a projector, a PowerPoint slide deck, and then you want to have a folder. So folders are important. In the folder, we have handouts. What are the costs of Medicare? We have an evaluation form. Don't do a meeting if you don't have an evaluation form. You might as well not even do it. The evaluation form becomes your lead sheet that we put into our CRM and call people back.
The first thing that we have in our folder as well is just like a visual of our team and just kind of introducing ourselves. And if you only have yourself, which is not bad, you can put something about yourself just so they feel that connection. Yes.
Yeah, a bio about your experience. You can say, hi, my name is Carol. I've been helping people with Medicare for over 20 years. Say something fun about yourself, like, you own 4 parakeets, or, something to distinguish yourself from other people, right? It's a connection, right? Turning 65 seminar is about creating an impact on people, right? They want to leave the meeting saying, wow, not only was that good information, but I like that guy.
Yeah.
All right. I like that guy. I like that gal. I could see myself doing business with this person. Right. The best thing about Medicare is that we develop relationships with our clients. I don't know if that's the best thing or the worst thing, Joe, but it can be a blessing and a curse depending on the client that you sign up, right? But that's a conversation for another meeting, I would think. Let's see what other questions have come in. So yeah, so we have like 4 or 5 different handouts. I've created an actual worksheet that follows my presentation. And so there's 4 sections to it that we have the clients take notes on. And again, this is all stuff that we've created, and we gladly make it available to our agents that work with us. All right. What is a good time of day to do a seminar? Really good question, Melody. And I would say if you're going to do a turning 65 seminar, you would want to do it after 6 o'clock. We like to do them at 6:30. You know why that is, Z?
Because people are still working and you want them to be able to come to the seminar.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Good job.
Right.
So people are still working. So, if you do it at 4 o'clock, guess who's not showing up? All right. People that are working. All right. Let's see. Do the slides have to be approved by CMS? I would say anything that you show to a consumer in 2023, you should have your upline run it through compliance. All right. I just wouldn't be comfortable giving anybody advice to making their own slides and then going out in the community. Now, the likelihood that CMS shows up is relatively low. But running a business, you want to make sure that you're staying up to date on all the latest compliance regulations. So we've received okay on our slide deck. What are the best days to run seminars? So this is a good question. Thank you for the question, Charmaine. So we do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. All right. When I was a little bit hungrier and wanted to work more, I would do it on a Saturday morning. The only thing I do on a Saturday morning is answer calls from our crazy agents. But I typically don't do seminars anymore over the weekends. But people aren't working. And so, you could do a 9 a.m. diner and you'll likely get good attendance. So if you didn't listen to anything I said the entire meeting, that's fine. This is literally the secret sauce to running a meeting. All right. I'm giving the secrets away for free.
You said you would.
This literally is the secret sauce. This took me years to figure out. So there's a whole psychology of running seminars. All right. What do I mean by that? All right. So if your camera is on, which most of them aren't, do you guys consider yourself an educator, or do you consider yourself a salesperson? What's the right answer, Z?
Educator.
I don't know if it's right, but I'm a salesperson.
You're a salesperson.
Educator.
Okay. So I'm definitely
people
a
don't know
salesperson.
how much you know.
The way I do it
Educator
is through education, right? And so most good agents always do the right thing by the client. Like that's the ante. That's a market ante. Anybody that's in this business is always going to do the right thing for the client. But in your education, there are sales approaches that you must take. All right. This will increase your closing ratios. This will increase your return on investment during your seminar. Somebody told me once that if you want people to book an appointment, you shouldn't tell them after your meeting is over to book an appointment. Right? You should tell them before so that they could start thinking about what does an appointment look like with Devin.
Okay.
So there's a psychology of the seminar, right? You need to make a connection with that person, right? Z and I always talk about, we're always talking about, how do we help more agents? How do we recruit more agents? And the reality is nobody wants to do business with us if they don't like you, if they don't have a connection with you, or you can't help them. Right. So there has to be a connection. This is a people business. People are buying you. Right. Anybody can give this information out. Right. They could go read the Medicare and You handbook of 200 pages, and that's probably going to have more information than what most agents can can deliver, right? But if you know that information that's in the Medicare and You book, and you're likable and you're relatable, you tell jokes, you make people laugh, you make people feel good, and you entertain, right? Then you're more likely to have somebody say, all right, I'm going to work with Carol because she's all of that. All right. And she's also easy on the eyes. Right. And so it has to be everything. So attendees need to remember you. Your presentation has to be memorable. If you're boring, no good. Right. No good. This is not a good business to be in if you're boring. All right. And if you don't know jokes, figure out a couple of jokes that you could throw into the meeting. All right. Before you present, you want to give a brief presentation about yourself. All right. And so I never go into a meeting without talking about our company or our organization and about me as an insurance agent. This one was like lights out for me. This last one, it just completely changed my mind. I went away from being an educator to more about being a salesperson. All right. Mention your name 3 times in the meeting. All right. So I'm going to say, all right, my name's Devin Rubin. I'm going to be your presenter today. And then I'll slip something in to the meeting. I'll say, Devin, a lot of people want to know how the Medicare Part D drug program works. So I say, when you book an appointment with myself, right, we're going to get a list of your medications. When you come into my office, right, I'm going to have your best drug plan picked out for you. Another thing that I do in the meeting, and some people say, so I say, all right, so I'm talking about Medicare supplement insurance, which we love selling Medicare supplement policies. We love it. And again, you want to discuss what an appointment looks like. They're not coming to your meeting to become your client. Let me say that again. They're not coming to your seminar to be your client. This is a very expensive lead that you need to nurture into a client, right? And so, like, everybody's coming, yes, they're worried about making a mistake. Medicare is confusing, right? You got all these jerks calling everybody without ever meeting anybody, right? And so, they're coming to get educated. It's your job to turn that into a prospect, turn that into what we call in the business a buying unit. I know that sounds terrible. That is the seminar business, right? Turn them into a buying unit. And so you do that by dropping your name, telling them what a seminar looks like, telling them what you do during an appointment. All right. And lastly, you really need to get them to fill out the evaluation form. All right. On the evaluation form, they're going to give your name, they're going to give your email. They're going to give you information. They're going to give you permission to contact, right? Is permission to contact important?
Yes, you need their permission before you can
contact them, right? So getting a permission to contact form is great. All right. Healthcare, I don't mention Aetna. I don't give prices on what Medicare supplement plans cost. I don't tell them who are the most popular Medicare Advantage companies. Just remember, this is a marketing event, right? This is a marketing event. You are doing this to create a lead and a prospect. If you give them all the answers, then they won't need you, right? And so people will book appointments with you if they find that you're knowledgeable, not pushy, and entertaining, right? Being entertaining is very important. And our meetings usually run between 60 and 75 minutes. All right, we've done other topics like Social Security and annuities that makes the meeting a little bit longer. But if you are, a financial advisor, oh my God, these are amazing lead generations to get you to selling financial products and to selling annuities, because you basically have a captive audience that needs to figure out Medicare. And so, you could do a couple slides on Social Security. You could talk about retiring in a down market. So we have all these slides if you're interested in adding those into your presentation. This is the agenda that I throw up on the screen. All right. And so I typically say, welcome to the meeting. These are the 4 topics that mostly everybody wants to know about. During our meeting that's now going to last 8 hours, I make a joke. First we're going to discuss, do you need to enroll in Medicare, because everybody's different. We're going to work through a couple of different scenarios. If you're still working, we're going to walk that through. If you do need to enroll in Medicare, we're going to teach you how to do it through Social Security. Then we're going to explain how Medicare works. We're going to go through the out-of-pocket costs of original Medicare, tell you what the copays and what the Medicare premiums are, what the deductibles are, and how Medicare A and B work. And then lastly, we're going to give you an overview on how Medicare supplement insurance works and how Medicare Advantage plans work. And then if you're interested in meeting with me later, there's an evaluation form that you can fill out to request an appointment. That's the agenda. Now, during the agenda, I obviously have multiple slides that we use depending on what we're covering. All right. So I always try to build a connection with my audience. I think it's just as important as the content. So I grew up playing hockey, which is why I wear a hockey jersey a lot of times. I coach my 15-year-old son, who's on the screen here. I'm his hockey coach. I played hockey in college. And for me, my son, 2 years ago, we were lucky enough to take a picture with the Stanley Cup in my best friend's backyard. So I'm trying to build some type of connection about who I am as a person, try to show them that I'm not just this stiff, that's giving a very boring presentation on Medicare. Because let's face it, right? Medicare can really be boring and dry if you allow it to be, right? What separates the top producer, right, is your charisma, your ability to connect with your audience, your ability to connect with other referral partners, right? Your ability to be human, your ability to make mistakes, your ability to make people laugh, right? And that's why there's really no better way to generate a lead in Medicare than running a Medicare seminar, because you basically are going out on a first date with somebody for an hour and a half to show them why they want to work with you as their insurance broker. And this is the evaluation form that we use, right? It has information about the location, when they're turning 65. If you wanted a copy of the evaluation form, you can reach out to Zaniette, or you can ping me on our Facebook group that we're on. Let's see. All right, so let's open it up to some questions. All right. Let's see if any of you guys have any questions. Do you ever partner with a referral partner to do a joint presentation? This is such a good question, Mark Kapsky, right? This is a great way to start. If you've never done a Medicare seminar, then you could hook up with one of your friends. I know some of our agents have split the cost of their marketing and then split the clients, on the back end. If it was a med sub sale, you could do that. I've done them with financial advisors. Right. So I've done them with a financial advisor in the area. 1 year that I partnered with a financial advisor, we wrote a lot of Medicare, and we also wrote some annuities together. So I think it's great. You can call some financial advisors in your area if they're doing seminars. They're in the market of getting people that are retired, right? So anybody that's in that retirement space, a tax attorney, a financial advisor, are ideal people to work with. So we would actually run appointments together. They would take the AUM, or the assets under management, because that's not my business, and then I do the Medicare, and then we would split any type of annuity cases that we've done together. And so great way to lower your costs, lower your risk, and have somebody with you to help you prop you up, because if you've never done one of these, it can be a little overwhelming. Mm-hmm. You can do commission splits on some products. Yeah. So on Medicare supplements, which, we tend to write a little bit more med sups during these meetings than Medicare Advantage, but that's changing over time. On a lot of the applications, you could put the other agent's name down, and the carrier can actually pay for the split. So that works. And so, I would say this is a relatively complex marketing campaign to set up, right? Anybody can, hire a Facebook marketer and get, 20 leads in the door tomorrow, right? Those tend to be low intent. You tend to have to chase them down. You've never really made a connection with them. So, setting up a Medicare seminar, I would say most of the top producers around the country have been doing Medicare seminars for years. It's a terrific way to grow your local brands. And I would just say there's only going to be more compliance coming down the pike. And so we sell a lot of policies over the phone without ever meeting anybody, right? We work all types of leads. We work direct mail leads. We work Facebook leads. We get leads from carriers, right? But, the proposed 48-hour scope is a real thing, right? So there's some new CMS regulations that are coming down the pike that say, a client has to sign a scope 48 hours in advance, otherwise you're out of compliance. If you're running a strictly over the phone shop and you're doing all of your stuff over the phone and you're sending out a scope through Sunfire, which is what most of the agents that are in the phone game are doing, it's going to be very difficult, not impossible, but very difficult to follow those compliance regulations, send that scope out 48 hours and then trying to get them back on the phone. If anybody who works Facebook campaigns, right, we all know the hardest part of running a Facebook lead is getting the person on the phone, right? And so you sold them, right? And now over the phone, you have to wait 48 hours for that scope. When you're in person, that compliance regulation disappears, right? You need to get a scope first, but a lot of times they're meeting with you 2 or 3 months, before they're ready to get going. And so building a local brands, in my opinion, is probably the best way to run a Medicare shop if you're an independent agent, right? Build a local brands, target your market of 20 to 30 miles around your office, meet with local referral partners, run Medicare seminars in different venues and locations, meet people in person, right? That's still a thing, is meeting with people in person. I know that most of us that are writing business are doing most of it over the phone, but meeting somebody in person, goes a long way. All right. How often do you recommend holding these seminars? From Jessica. Well, I think it's up to your ingenuity and your ability to set that meeting up with that venue, right? If you're going to spend money on marketing and sending out cards and postcards, then you want there to be a gap 3 or 4 months in advance before you do the next one, right? Because there's only a finite number of people turning 65 in your market. Where we are in New Jersey, right? We're a heavily densely populated area. So, finding people to market to really isn't a problem. Now, I have agents in New Mexico and Texas, in different parts of the country that are rural. And so that becomes a lot more difficult to running a turning 65 seminar, just because you don't have that volume of people to market to. All right. So, what I'll end with is that, you're excited. You've done your Medicare seminar. You got there an hour early, right? You have your folders, your magnets. You got your awesome pens that we didn't show anybody today, right? Everybody's ready to go. They laughed at your meeting. They thought that you are great information. And then you wait for the phone to ring. And then it doesn't ring. Well, the money's in the follow-up, right? The money is in the follow-up in any business. You will get phone calls in. All right. We definitely do. We get phone calls years later, that people are going to retire, but you're going to want to call the person back the next day, thank them for attending. You could send them out, a letter. But you definitely want to make sure that you give them a call to see if they want to book an appointment. Now, some people say, should I book an appointment if I have to work or if I'm still working and I don't need Medicare? I say, you're crazy if you don't want to have another connection with somebody. I don't care who it is. I say, listen, I'll make time for you. It's 15 to 20 minutes to clarify your situation. Make sure you understand their situation. They're going to continue to work. They don't need Medicare. At least you can get an email, a phone number, and make sure that you have all that information. So I would say book an appointment, even though they're not in that Medicare window. I think it makes a lot of sense to do. Everybody that goes to a seminar goes into our CRM. And so we've created our own CRM through Go High Level. Anybody that's an agent with Golden Years has access to it. We've customized our Go High Level account for our agents. We have automations built out for seminars, and then we've built out an opportunity pipeline that we have different stages of where people are. And so, you know, if they've come to a meeting, or if they set an appointment, or if we've written it, we have them all in different sections of our My Medicare Helper Go High Level CRM. So if you're working with us and you wanted to book a time and see if you can get some of our materials, just reach out to Zaniette. We'll set up a one-on-one time with you. If you're not working with us and you want to work with us, you don't have to move all of your contracts. We're more than happy to spend a couple contracts with you. We'll walk you through our presentation, and we'll guide you through how to run the most successful meetings. So with that said, we're right about at an hour. I want to thank everybody for joining. If there aren't any other questions, go ahead.
We just want to also thank everyone joining on live. Yeah.
That's so serious. You're so serious all the time. Supposed to have fun. Like, oh my God, I thought you were giving like terrible news. Lighten up, would you?
Also, any of you out there who haven't joined us on TikTok, we have an Ask Devin and Z, and
Get out of here.
Any questions that you think of after the fact, if you want to ask us, you can reach out to us on TikTok, as well as please follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and all those great avenues. Okay.